It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, welcome everyone to your Mayor's Report here on SSP TV. I'm Sam Lesante. Every month we try to keep you informed of what's happening. So many things happening in the city of Hazleton. Remember, what happens in Hazleton affects the entire area. Joining me today, no stranger, is our mayor of Hazleton, Mayor Jeff Cusat. First and most important question is, how's my little girl doing?
She's great.
Khaleesi.
She's great. She turned 1 last week,
Yeah.
so everything is new and exciting. Had the first birthday party. First time she had ice cream cake, so it was fun.
It's amazing how they change your life, huh?
Absolutely, yeah.
Just, it seems that you're happier now, Jeff. You're more pleasant now.
Yeah, it's a lot different than 10 years ago, huh?
Yeah. You know, when you look at, I get a lot of response sometimes with the different reports we do, and when it comes to the mayor's report, people ask me questions. Sam, ask the mayor this, ask the mayor that. So, in general, looking at the city in whole, and you guys are always doing certain things. How does the city of Hazleton, fare out?
Yeah, we're doing very well. It's a big city, and there's a lot that needs to get done. So we're doing a little bit of projects here and there, and most times people don't see what you do because it is such a large city. There's almost 11,000 properties in the city, so everybody is not going to see all 11,000. So we might be way over here in the northeast corner, and you might never travel over there, but that's where we might be concentrating, this month. And so there's a lot of things that are going on that most people will never see, and we are out there now replacing a lot of storm inlets, in preparation for a paved job that we're hoping to get done between this year and next year. So the little things like that, they take a lot of time and to get them done, and planning and trying to get the funding stuff in order, before you can do that. We're working on housing development. They just went through a planning commission this week. We're looking to finish up some of the other projects, with the sewer and water. Trying to coordinate with UGI to get projects in line so that we don't have the overlapping of paving projects.
Housing is a problem, and I see you're working on that as well.
Yeah, we just went through planning. Like I said, there's 600 apartment units got approved for out Club 40 Road. So that got approved. That they're clearing the way up for what was Allen Ridge, which was resold, and the new developers are starting to work on that area. They're supposed to be mulching up all the trees that they cut down. Now they got the conservation permits in order, so that's supposed to start this week coming up. So there's a lot of new units getting put in. So it's going well. It's just a lot of slow processes.
It's amazing when you look at downtown and how nice it's growing. I mean, it's really starting to develop really nice downtown, isn't it?
It is. It's coming back. It'll never be what it once was. You're not going to have 10,000 people downtown on a Friday night or on the weekend anymore. Yeah. But there's life back. I remember when I came into office and I drove down there and there was so many empty storefronts and just gloom, but now there's life left. At least you see something in the windows. Maybe it's somewhere you won't shop, but because you're unfamiliar with what's in there. But there's life back into a lot of the storefronts. There's a lot of money being invested in the buildings down there, and it's coming along nicely.
And they're all ultra modern. I mean, they're like Hayden's building. What you did out in the front there. It's very nice to see. It's a good image too when people are coming in.
Yeah,
in town.
we had the first movie in the park out there on the Can-Do Park last weekend. So it was something we've been talking about for years. We wanted to do movies in the park, and we finally got together with Can-Do and the Downtown Alliance, and we put that together. It was a great showing. It started earlier, music in the afternoon, food trucks, and the kid movie started that night. So it's all coming together. Just takes long to put these things together.
I think people realize this, but the image of a town, your school district, the city, the amenities, the arts, mean a lot when you're trying to attract business to come into town, manufacturing or whatever, because they bring their families. And they want to know if we're going to relocate in this area, what do they have to offer? Wouldn't you think so?
They do. That's some of the first things people do ask you about is what is there to do? How's the school? What could I do with my family? Where could we go eat?
Exactly.
Is there somewhere we can go play with my younger children? So it is a lot that people look for when they come here to meet with you.
Mm-hmm. Are you pleased what's going on in the city, Jeff? I know you're never pleased, but
I'm never totally satisfied. There's so much I want to get done, and you never know how much time you're going to have. So it's coming along. It takes a long time to do things. When you have to follow all the regulations and get all the funding in order and go through the engineering process and wait your turn and you finally get something out for bid and nobody could schedule you this year, and you're putting it off, and it gets a little
frustrating.
It's frustrating. We've been waiting up here at the park for stuff. It's 2.5 years now. I've been talking about certain things I want to get done here, and it gets frustrating because we're never going to be. It's not like, hey, I call the guy on the phone and say, hey, I want to put a deck on my house. I can get put on.
It's funny you should say that because we're talking with Joe Zeller before the show, and we're talking about Joe. Let's keep the people informed what's going on, and he's saying, you're saying, there's so many things that in the development stages right now that you don't want to discuss because of the fact that you want to make sure that they're going to happen. But my friends, there's so many great things happening. Currently, as far as road work that we talk about, what's happening in July? You said.
So far in July, we do have a couple roads scheduled to be paved. The Buttonwood, we've been hoping it was going to get paved for the last 2 or 3 years. Finally, the sewer authority and the gas, they're all done. The water went and did some work, so that project is complete now. So mid-July, Buttonwood should be paved. From Poplar all the way down to Church. We're going to combine, and the Source has to replace some water. So the city is going to, jump on their contract and completely do Buttonwood. James and Peace are finally going to get done over there. They're done with the work. We were putting in some storm inlets, and we used the ARPA money to do stormwater restoration. So now we can go back in and pave those 2 streets. So those projects, we've been talking, I think about 2.5 years, 3 years we've been talking about those couple projects. We are planning a huge project on the north side of town, but it just takes so long to get the funding in order and the measuring done. And hopefully they are going to go out for bid in the next week or so. Not sure if it's going to be able to be accomplished this year, with the scheduling of the contractors. So that's the frustrating part. There's so much we're trying to do and get done. So even up here, we've been talking about the ice cream stand up here for how many years now? It's, we thought we were going to get it in early this year, and that's slowed down. We're talking about the expansion of the all-inclusive playground over there. We're planning a 2 to 5-year-old separate section so the smaller kids can play unabated. And there's so many things that are going on that it's just frustrating.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about City View Park and all the great things that are happening here. My friends, you're listening to the Mayor's Report 24/7, ssptv.com. You get all of our information, and my email is sam@ssptv.com. For any questions or comments you'd like to have, please do so. We'll be back right after this. Well, welcome back to the Mayor's Report. I'm Sam Lesante, and we're up here at City View Park. If you just tuned in, great place. This guy, Jeff Cusat, the mayor, this is like his main focus in bringing so much entertainment and relaxation to the community. Not only Hazleton, but a lot of people from the entire area are coming up here. City View Park, tell me about it. Tell me what's going on. I mean, like nothing's happening, right?
We've come a long way up here in the last couple of years. When we came into office, there was a garage, 1 pavilion up here, and a stone walkway. Now we have 5 pavilions. We have a stage. We have working bathrooms. We have a 0.7 mile paved walking trail, a playground for children. So it's come a long way. We have a lot more planned for up here. It's a place for everybody to come. You come up here and you see how many people are utilizing the playground. So you go over and you talk to them, and they're from Drums, and they're from McAdoo and Freeland.
Sure.
You know, they come here. It's a beautiful playground that you know, so many people use, and the park. Like, you know, we have the first Rock in the Mountain tonight. So it'll be over by the time this show airs. But you know, last year we had almost 3,000 people for each one of the concerts, and you know, they're coming from everywhere. So it just brings good spirit back to the Hazleton, some good vibes. You know.
Well, before we get into the concerts you're having, we're here in a pavilion, okay? Now let's assume I'd like to come up here and just have a picnic, okay? Do I have to get approval? What do I have to do?
Well, we hold a lot of parties up here.
Yeah.
So there's two ways about it. I mean, you could just come up here and utilize one on the day, and just take a shot, and nobody else is using them. If you want to reserve one, you could call the recreation department. You reserve it, and you could add the use of the bathrooms to it if you want electric to it, and then reserve which one you want.
There's a fee for that.
There's a little bit of a fee, but that also ensures that you're going to get that. Okay. So if you have it reserved and you come up here and there's somebody utilizing it, you could call the city and they'll come up here and they'll politely move the people that are in your spot. Okay. So it's not that you can't use the park or we're charging you to use the park. We're basically ensuring you that you have the spot that you want for your event. And then you could utilize the whole park for special events if you want to.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple weddings up here. There's car shows up here. The Wine Fest, you know, the D'Angelo family event is here next week. So, like, yeah, you could utilize the entire park, and there's a little fee that goes with it, but that way you could have a venue that's all year.
It's great for a family to come up and do, you know, you have facilities for them to play and the whole bit, right?
Yeah, each pavilion holds about 80 people. You could add extra tables and chairs to it, you know, so it's something that you could come here, sit here, let the children go run around. You could have the dog parks right across the way there. You could, the trail, the playground. There's a lot of things to do up here. And when we get done, you know, we are planning to have the ice cream stand out there, and we've been in talks with somebody to come in and install a miniature golf and batting cages. Mm-hmm. So, like, we're really looking for the future. It's going to be a while.
Mm-hmm. And when you're looking at the concerts, okay, so we're running this show in July and mid-August. What's happening in July up until the end of August?
Well, we have the first concert tonight, and then there's going to be one on July 4th. Our firework event is July 6th, and then we're going to take off a few weeks because there's the Rocking the River up in Wilkes-Barre, so we don't want to overlap. And then we come back here August 1st, August 8th, and August 15th for the next three concerts here. And then I believe the Wine Festival, the Rotary Beer and Wine Festival, is following that. You know, we had the Lineman Rodeo was here last weekend. You know, hundreds of people from all over the country come in for that, and it's a great event for the linemen.
Now, all of the things that are happening, my friends, are on their website, correct?
Yes.
So if you go, what is the website?
Well, if you go to the main website, it's hazletoncity.org, okay. But we also have Hazleton Rocks, there's Hazleton Parks, so there's several different...
So it lets people know all the activities.
Yeah,
Are there charges for any fees for these concerts?
No, there's no fee to get in.
And there's food available?
I believe we have 11 food trucks coming tonight. We'll have Diamond Fire Company will be here for adult beverages, and there are a lot of little things like that. There's some games for children to play.
You know, it's funny, Jeff, you know, I know you're very family-oriented, and you have a great team, too. But, you know, even before you had your firstborn, okay, you were always concerned about making sure that there was activities in the town and taking care of the people and making sure they enjoy themselves. And I applaud you for that. I really do. I think that's very admirable on your part. But there's a lot more I think that you like to do up here. And just to review, what are some of the addition to the ice cream stand? What are some of the other things you like to see happen here at City View?
Well, you know, we are looking to expand the walking trail and put in some exercise equipment to go with it. So like when you walk around, you can stop and do the little exercises. Like I said, we want to expand the playground. we're looking to get some more grants to finish paving the parking lot. There's a lot of little things that we want to put into it that they just take so much time.
Mm-hmm. But you're working at it.
We're working.
Look at it where we are today versus 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, if you look on Google Earth and you can go back the back dates, you'll see what was here before we were here, and it's a big difference.
When you're looking at the development of the city, moving a little bit out of the City View Park, but there was a tank up at the airport. I used to enjoy looking at that tank. Okay, where is it? It's not in your backyard, is it?
It's not in my backyard. We didn't scrap it. It's at us. So the city actually never owned the tank. It's on loan from the federal government, and we talked about moving it and try to spruce up the front of the airport because we were paving that road. Part of the agreement was with putting the transit facility up there was to repave that road.
Yeah.
So that road was going to be repaved, and the tank was out front. I wanted to put a nice sign out there to show off the airport, because we got so much more action at the airport lately. So I thought, let's see if we could find a better home for it. So, we talked about moving it down to Memorial Park because we are planning on redoing Memorial Park too. So we thought maybe we'll put it at Memorial Park or bring it up here. And then we started looking around, and people are. So it's a liability because kids climb on it, throw stuff at it. So I'm like, let's just find a better home for it. So there was, we called around that somebody was looking to open a new war memorial museum.
Yeah.
So we put them in contact, and the federal government has the tank, and they will, if it's appropriate, they will relocate it to that museum.
How'd they move it?
A low boy.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know how I was not there when they moved it.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it doesn't run, does it?
No.
No, good. The airport. Once again, one of the few cities in the state that has a municipal airport.
We are the only city that has its own municipal airport and its own bus facility. Yeah. So we are the only municipality that owns and operates its own. There are several municipal airports. Some of them are run by authorities. Not many are run by the actual city. Same with the bus. Most of them are run by authorities or counties. So we do.
And my friends, when you're talking about the transit, when you're looking at the Hazleton transit system, it's second to none. I mean, since we've been doing the segment on the transit, a lot of people do not know what's available. Okay, what the Hazleton Transit has to offer. I mean, there's a lot of things they have to offer.
We have a great video. They're our sponsor for this show, and they do have a great video to show you where they go, how many spots they go through, and stops they have per day, and all the ways to use the system.
The development in the town. You said you have other projects. You have the Memorial Park, you said?
Memorial Park, we are looking to redesign Memorial Park, which most people call it Columbus Park.
Yeah.
But Columbus Park is actually on Columbus Court. The Memorial Park is the one with Columbus, Christopher Columbus statue, right on the corner of Diamond and Church.
And keeping the city clean, I know there's some ordinances out there, my friends. Cut your grass. Get some things, have pride in what's going on in the city. How are you addressing some of the people that just really don't care a little bit?
We're out there. We're trying to do as much as we can. Our code department is small. There's a lot of properties, like I said, in the town. And we're trying. We get around as much as we can and do as much as we can with what we have.
So you got the fire department, city department, the police, and the road department. Seems to be, working pretty good.
Yeah, everything's going good. The police department down there in the new building, I think it really helped.
Big time.
It gives you a nice presence when you come into the city. It really cleaned up the action at City Hall. We enabled us to put the county offices in there. So and
how's that working?
It's working great. I go down. We come through the scanner. When you come in on Tuesday and Thursday. So we do get about 150 to 200 visitors on those days.
Wow.
So that's how many trips we're saving.
That's right.
To Wilkes-Barre, back and forth. So I think it's really a positive for all the the county. I mean, there's people, and it's not just people from Hazleton utilizing it. You see people from a vast area that come in there instead of having to drive all the way to Wilkes-Barre. So I think it's a great service that we were able to so we added, moved out the police department, made it a much less hectic building, and we're able to add extra amenities, so it's great. And then also gave us a little bit more room, which we were able to put in a conference room. It's a nice professional-looking conference room, which I believe we're going to try to do our next show from in there. So when you are meeting with these developers that come in, we're not sitting at folding tables or in a tight little space.
In working with Ramilda Crocomo and working with the legislators, working with your congressmen, etc., it seems that when everybody works together in a positive manner, other than political nonsense, you could see the development, how everybody just grows from that.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. We have the county here now. We have the state. We have the congressman. We have the state senator. Like everything is downtown Hazleton right now. So it's great that when you need something, you can just walk in there. I mean, it's great that we were able to put the three of those offices in one of the city-owned buildings. People can one-stop shop instead of having to bounce around.
I love it.
So it's easy. So a lot of times when they come to City Hall, Chris will be able to send them right down to there, or they'll go there. So it's only there's only really two places you have to go in the entire city to get all the services you need.
I think it's great. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy the concerts up here. Take care of our little girl, okay, Khaleesi.
Yeah, I will.
Now that she's an old girl at 1 year old, okay, and wish you the best.
Thank you.
Okay. The Mayor's Report, my friends. Remember, we have a number of reports: Google Report, the Mayor's Report, Luzerne County Community College Report, and Luzerne County Report, trying to keep you informed of what's going on. It's all on ssptv.com. We appreciate your viewership. We'll see you next time.